Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're visiting today with Amber Harsh, who is completely wonderful. I mean, her middle name is Rose. How much wonderful could she be? Oh, okay. So she lives in North Dakota and she does financial services. And we were going through the 5 steps. You want to start at the beginning and maybe don't go into as much depth about the first two, and then the last three, we can go into more depth. Would that be okay? Just so we
Sure.
get all 5 of them in one place.
Yes. So the first part would be looking at your budget. The second step would be looking at your proper protection in the form of life insurance.
Okay.
Um, and then thirdly, we would talk about your debt. And with that, we would go into if you have debt, we're going to look at different concepts to help you get out of debt faster and stay out of debt. We
Okay.
teach the debt stacking method. We look at if people have multiple credit card payments. We put together a plan where they're focusing on the highest interest rate first and then just moving that payment that they're making down to the next card once that card's paid off so that it'll help them get out of debt faster and save them some money instead of just throwing, 50 bucks to a card here, $75 to a card here, say their minimum payment's only 25, but we're going to throw extra money to each card. We're going to focus on one card, throwing all of that extra money towards that one, the highest interest rate, and then just
Right.
move it down to the next one. So, and
Smart. Very smart.
yeah. And then number four would be, do they have short-term savings? We're looking at you want 3 to 6 months of your income saved up so that if something were to happen to you or your spouse, that you are able to make sure that you can sustain your life until you're able to recover, whether you got injured or lost a job. And 3 to 6 months is the best way to make sure that you're going to be okay. And then lastly is long-term savings, looking at what they need to retire and how we can get them there so that they never ever have to go back to work. Because who wants to retire at 65 and then think about maybe 2 years later having to go back to work? And unfortunately, I don't know that when I retire that even Social Security is going to be there, and
Yeah, absolutely. It
it
may
doesn't
not
keep
even
up
be
with
there
the
for those of us that are already on it.
Exactly.
Maybe.
And Social Security doesn't keep up with the rate of inflation either. They don't do a lot of cost adjustments for people, and a lot of people are outliving their money that they had saved for retirement, which in turn can really, really hurt a person,
Right.
who wants to be 75 and working still.
Yeah. 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 So, I've got thousands of questions, but that's why we do so many shows. I have a friend that we've done 11 shows with, and I'm hoping to break that, break that record.
I love that.
Yeah, because, someone like yourself, I mean, you're going to come into someone's home, sit at the kitchen table with them, and try to help them do things that, A, like you just said, I'm just parroting what you said. A, our schools don't teach us this stuff. B, most families, both spouses are working one or two jobs, grandma's taking care of the kids, and they don't have time to even spell the word budget, let alone do one. And you come in and help them with all 5 of these things. That's massively helpful. How do you get remunerated? I mean, you might get a little commission from the life insurance, but other than that, it seems like you're working for free. I don't know.
Actually, yes, if we do happen to set someone up with a life insurance product, we're paid out of the marketing budget of the companies that we work with. So doing all of like the budget planning and doing the debt stuff with people, it does not cost them anything. The only thing that I ever ask for is referrals so that I can
Okay.
help more families.
Oh, that's
My goal personally for 2025 is to help at least 100 families.
okay. Well, I'm going to stop here and say, folks, try to listen to what Amber is saying because you can tell by her way of being, her speech, her tone, she cares about us. She cares about each one of us. And you can't get that. I used to sell life insurance. You can't get that usually. So um, I would consider it if I were you, please, consider it carefully. She's willing to do so many things for you without, for just referrals, and referrals are not that hard to do. It just means tell your friends. So, um, give us if you would please, Amber, give us your contact information again, or I can say it if you want me to practice knowing what it
Oh,
is.
I
Either
can do
way.
it.
Okay.
A Rose BI at hotmail.com.
Okay. So letter A, the word rose, bi at hotmail.com. And
Yes.
I just really, I can't say enough good things. I mean, I've been in this business a long time, 20 some years. I I kind of think I know people right out of the gate, not always, but Amber seems like someone we could trust, someone we could confide in about something as personal as our monetary situation. And let's consider getting in touch with her. Do emails come through okay if you don't have the other person's email address? They still come through
Yes.
all right?
Plus I always check my junk mail no matter what.
Okay.
Because I get stuff, from
From
different
everywhere.
areas. And so I make sure that I check that even along
All
with my
right.
main email
All right.
folder.
Well, in future shows, I would like to go through a couple of things you mentioned in more depth, such as
Okay.
and we don't want to do it today because we want to just leave people with this opportunity to get in touch with you. The debt stacking thing, I want to know more about that. And then someday I want to play Old Home Week where I tell you about my experience with life insurance. um, so there's that. And then at some point, I want to go through what a indexed universal fund is, or I always get that wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say.
An IUL, yeah.
Yeah, just in a future show, if you could tell us more about what that is, how it works, some of the features. I do know some of the features already, but anyway, just thank you for who you are. Thanks mostly for your kindness, your sense of safety that you give me as a person. I mean, if I if I needed a life insurance policy, I would. I mean, I do interview a lot of people from financial education, and I
Mhm.
certainly you would be really high in the top of my list. Mostly because of I can tell you really care deeply. You're committed to the person. How you get away with working for free, I have no idea, but I know truck drivers don't have an easy life either. My dad drove for Fruhoff for quite a
Okay.
while. I think they're still around. Uh, anyway, folks, that's our show. We try to keep it short so you guys can have your shortest attention span and still get the information. Amber, thank you so much. And I don't know if you're on the schedule soon, but consider maybe consider doing this, this third Sunday once a month or whatever works for you. More
Okay.
often, less often. Okay. And once I
Sounds
get
good.
these shows up on the site, I'll send you the link so you can approve them. I will not post the broadcast them to social media until you've approved them. Okay.
All right.
All right, folks. Thank you. Thank you, Amber, for your time. Folks, do consider emailing Amber, arosebi@hotmail.com. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Amber.
Thank you.
Many blessings. Thank you. See, right? See, that sound is my machine telling me to